All right, I'm back. Excuse my hair. But part two on my friend's Vmax 700. I have finally figured out what the hell was wrong with it, and I literally replaced like every single part off of my black XTC here. I basically pulled everything besides the engine, trying to diagnose what was wrong with this sled. And it ended up being his carb rack. I went through his carbs probably at least 2 or 3 times. They're right here. And I failed to just start with that, I guess. I right when he picked this up, well, we went together to pick it up, like Oconomowoc area or something. I don't remember where he was, but he traded a bike for this, a little pit bike, and it ran like butthole. It ran like butthole when we picked it up even, but I was just like, oh, it's got to be carbs. So we brought it back to his place, my friend's place, and I immediately tore into the carbs, cleaned them. They were all filled with, all the bowls were filled with this like white dusty substance, which I'm assuming is from someone previously running ethanol fuel in the sled. Some of his pilots didn't look great, from what I remember. And that still didn't fix the problem. There's a blue primary spring on this. It engages much higher than stock. So I thought maybe that's it. So I swapped both the secondary and primary off of this 98 onto his SX here. That didn't do anything. I tested the stator. It tested out fine. I still went out and bought a aftermarket stator, put it in the sled, made no difference. So that was a lot of the time spent last week. Right here's the SPI stator, I believe it is. Brand new. Threw it in, made no difference at all. So it's just crazy how many things I changed on this sled, and to no avail. And then just earlier today, it's like afternoon now. I want to say it's like 3. Let's see. It is 4:28 on a Saturday. All this morning, I got here around like 10 or 11 or something. I immediately started pulling all the stuff, the airbox and everything out of that to get to the carb rack. I threw it on here, started it, and it of course ran out of gas. So I had to go into town, fill up my VP with 93 or 91 rather, because I only run the good fuel, and got the carbs on the sled, and it ran how it's supposed to. It now revs to like 9 grand almost. It just absolutely screams. So all along, it was his stupid carb rack, which I have pulled apart now maybe 2 or 3 times. So it just goes to show you, like, when you think you know enough about something, you probably don't. So this has been a very humbling experience for me, I guess you could say. And very frustrating. I'm still extremely pissed off with this sled, to be totally honest. Compression was fine. Stator tested out, as I said. It had like 115 to 120 PSI across all three jugs, all three holes. So I was like, okay, this engine is healthy enough. I checked spark. I thought that one cylinder was like maybe weaker than the others or something. And obviously that wasn't it either. Just super frustrating. So I got it all together, and then we have no snow. It's like 40 degrees out for the past month. We got dumped on like a month ago or so, or 3 weeks, I don't know. So, and then it got really warm and it all melted. So now this thing rips, and yeah, this thing just rips again. I'll start it right here for you guys. I could have let it run a little bit longer to warm up, but it's like 70 in here, and now it's really smoky and my ears hurt. But yeah, it fixed it. So it's the freaking carb rack this whole time, and I'm still pissed about it, to be honest. But so we're gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with it. It's an absolute mess in here, so excuse the mess. But yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with it, because at this point it's either him and I figure out finally what's wrong with this carb rack, because there's maybe some little orifice that I'm missing on it or something that I haven't cleared, I guess. Or the choke maybe. I mean, this choke's pretty rusty, so it doesn't appear that it gets binded up or stuck at all, but I mean, that could be an issue. I just don't know anymore, and I'm kind of sick of working on his sled, to be totally honest. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously something in there in that carb rack, because that was finally what it was. So maybe I'll make another video here, but this thing's done. The hood's just trashed, but I quickly put some glaze over it with the polisher, just to give it some amount of gloss. I cleaned his seat up, even though it's ripped. It's still super dry, just from sitting outside, and kind of pink. Cleaned his running boards up quick and threw some wax on those. His dash is in really, really nice shape. These usually crack right here on these, and they're getting hard to find nice ones of. I found a pretty nice one here too. It's a little dirty from cats or whatever, but so yeah, those are getting kind of hard to find. But yeah, I mean, it will rip again, so I'm just super excited. At the same time, I'm really salty over this sled because it has costed me so much time and money trying to diagnose it, and all along it was just his carbs. So just goes to show you, like, you know, don't overlook the obvious, I guess. Or in this case, it really wasn't blaringly obvious. Some of his needles were dull. The needles in the needle seat, they were dull. So yeah. I don't know what could honestly be wrong with these at this point. I went through them, like I said earlier, and replaced the O-rings on the seats. I checked and adjusted the float heights, thinking that they were like the floats were set too high, so it was like flooding itself in a way. I went through them, and I thought I was confident in myself, but clearly there's, you know, more to it than that. So yeah, just really frustrating. And then yeah, so we're gonna have to put it back together or whatever. But I did some more work on this the other day too. I got the whole riser setup done. It's looking really good. So I have RSI angled 4-inch risers, and then the swivel riser from Rock's Speed FX. These are 3.5-inch, and then I have the RSI Hustler bars, which I had to cut this end just to get the throttle block on, the stock throttle block. But I'm super stoked on that. That's gonna look really good. I made this. Made the headlight delete, basically, I guess, and through Wall, I got a choke lever finally to replace the broken stock choke lever that was completely frozen into the stock carb, and this is a newer, or a different carb out of another sled that I bought from a guy in Minnesota. So yeah, this thing is, I'm getting excited on this thing too. Let's see if it starts right now. Maybe not. Alright, I guess it's not meant to be. But yeah, I did get it started and it ran okay. I think that choke is maybe a little too much for it or something. I don't really know. I haven't gotten it totally dialed in yet, but it seems to maybe kind of flood itself even with just a little bit of choke, and then I can't get it started like you just saw. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now. But maybe I'll not make another video here, but here's the current conditions outside. So yeah. And it's just after Valentine's Day. Yeah, also replaced plugs many times on this, thinking, you know, what if it's just following plugs over and over or something. Clearly wasn't it. So yeah, I'm done with this stupid thing. It rips and it runs how it's supposed to again. So it's a lesson in perseverance, I think, too. My mom always told me, you know, when I would get frustrated and give up on something, and she would continue going and then get it done. Some little task that was very seemingly like, you know, very unimportant and very small, you know, she would always tell me, or she would get it like you know, a chain or a piece of jewelry or something is like all tangled up into a knot, and I would give up on it, and then she would just keep going at it and get it, and I was like, and then she'd get it, and I'd be like, how'd you get that? She was like, you gotta persevere, Taylor. So that's my lesson for today, is perseverance. I was ecstatically happy when I got this to run right after swapping the carbs, because it's been so long. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Peace.